Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Startup Pitch event for the Knowledge Graph Conference. At this time, if any judges are in the audience, could you please raise your hands? We will invite you on stage. My name is Joaquin Malata, and I am joined with Matthias. So thank you very much for joining the session. As soon as we have more, okay, we have Will. We'll get, yeah, okay. We'll get started now, and we'll let the judges introduce themselves for a brief period of time. Thank you for joining us, Chris. Chris, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Rusnak. I am a data scientist by trade, and I'm also a founder of Press TV, which had co-won, along with Will, the Startup Pitch competition for last year's Knowledge Graph Conference.
Thank you, Chris. That's a good segue to Will. Will, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Will Kreth, Hand, Human, and Digital, along with Chris, co-winner of the Startup Pitch competition last year. Good to see you, Joaquin.
Good to see you, Will. Wouter, would you like to present yourself?
Sure. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Wouter Janssens, co-founder and CEO of Digita. We specialize in offering personal data spaces on Solid and does the link with knowledge graphs. So very excited to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Wouter. I see John joined us now. John, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, everybody. John Riccardi. I started my career in Silicon Valley a long time ago, writing code at a search company. Then I was a product manager for a while. Then I was an investment banker for a while. Now doing some angel investing and CEO coaching. Worked with Francois Jeffries and saw early stage of knowledge graph work there, and really excited to see what people have come up with today.
Thank you, John. Jeremy Kagan, would you like to say a few words?
Hey there. I guess I was muted when I logged in. Nice to meet you all. I am the former managing director of the Lang Center over at the Columbia Business School, and now I run a small VC called Textbook Ventures. Teach over a variety of classes like entrepreneurship and digital marketing, and definitely excited to hear what the startups have to say today.
All right. Well, I guess that concludes our panel of judges for today. We would like to, for those of you tuning in today, we would like to ensure that there is transparency around the contest and the criteria we used. We took great care to ensure that this competition upheld the highest standards of fairness. 31 startups applied for the contest, 8 were selected, and each of the selected startups were evaluated by 3 separate judges. So we will have a total of 8 startups perform their startup pitch for a total of 5 minutes, after which we will have 3 questions asked by our panel of judges, and within that will be within a time bound of 5 minutes as well. So if we can identify anyone representing Codified Health, we can get started with the first pitch. Just please raise your hand and we'll bring you up on stage.
I see Sophia's here.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, Haley.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. The floor is all yours. Whenever you would like to share your screen.
We also have one more additional founder, Aditya, if you could also bring him up onto stage.
Okay.
All right, great. Hi, everyone. can get started.
Let me see how we go about screen sharing this. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Everyone see? Great. Amazing. So I'm gonna get started. Good morning. We're Codified Health, and we're putting the focus of medicine back on patients, not paperwork. As patients, we all rely on doctors to provide us with quality care, but the system in place doesn't support them in doing so. Doctors spend time outside the patient visit, translating the visit into complex medical codes, and sending billing information as a claim to insurance companies for reimbursement. But as many as 80% of these claims are denied, and doctors are left unpaid, burdened with more work, with less energy to care for their patients. So why are these claims denied? It's mainly due to having missing or invalid claim data, insufficient patient chart notes, and medical coding errors. After all, there are hundreds of thousands of these medical codes. And guess what? 86% of these errors are completely preventable.
Private practice doctors are the backbone of medical care, especially for underserved and marginalized communities, but they're fighting to stay afloat in this combative reimbursement system. This is my dad. He was one of them. Unfortunately, the average physician's workflow requires clicking up to 70 times in the billing forms for every patient visit. Multiply that by the average 23 patients each doctor sees every day, and that's over 1,600 clicks daily. After 8 long years of battling this billing system, my dad recognized the subsequent burnout impeded his ability to deliver quality care. As a result, he closed his practice. Patients also suffer when insurances refuse to pay for their medical services after they've already been conducted. Take, for example, Cloyd, who's left with nearly a $13,000 hospital bill after her insurance retroactively denied her visit. These are just 2 stories from the over hundreds of doctors and patients we've spoken to. We founded Codified Health to help doctors like my dad take care of patients like Cloyd without either having to worry about the financial repercussions.
So, just how does our software go from over 70 clicks to 1? It's simple. First, the doctor sees a patient and reports their work in the chart note. Second, our software instantaneously scans that note to generate the correct billing and coding information and to inform doctors if they're missing critical information, to quick fix their mistakes, and to recheck patient charts to ensure they meet national patient quality standards. Finally, our software submits that information back into their system all before you're even out the door. This means that with our software, doctors like Dr. Chen can generate over an additional $100,000 in profits per year. And this is based on our alpha testing alone, where we've been catching over 90% of billing mistakes.
Codified Health uses tools provided by the National Library of Medicine's UMLS knowledge graph named MetaMap to engage natural language processing to identify key concepts and relationships with patient chart note data. So NLM's MetaMap leverages knowledge graphs to facilitate the development of tools for effective medical billing using semantic analysis to extract meaning from unstructured text. And the system maps concepts from this text to in a standardized vocabulary, such as the UMLS meta thesaurus, which serves as the foundation for the knowledge graph. It identifies relevant concepts, relationships, mappings, and enables us to generate accurate codes and billing information based on clinical texts, and past data. This approach not only streamlines the medical billing process, but also enables more accurate and complete documentation, leading to improved patient care and better health outcomes. We're using neural networks to map, for instance, correct ICD-10 codes or CPT codes to the text content available within the visit notes to ensure that accuracy.
We are the only solution tailored to private practices, even though they comprise half of all the doctors in the United States. We offer transparent and predictable pricing that allows doctors to budget accurately, and we guarantee patient chart quality and generate entire claims rather than just visit codes. And the market size for medical billing and coding in the United States is massive, with a total addressable market size of over $5 billion. This market's only expected to grow, increasing by over 24% over the next 5 years as U.S. health expenditures continue to increase.
At Codified Health, our diverse skill sets include public health, machine learning, full stack development, and corporate finance expertise. Our founding team consists entirely of people of color, the majority of whom are women and identify as LGBTQIA. We have what it takes to transform the medical billing industry. We're fortunate enough to receive industry guidance from several accomplished founders and mentors, as well as from our advising cohort of private practice physicians and medical billers.
As of now, we've already filed for full patent application and are training our AI algorithm over 36,000 patient records. We're currently conducting our alpha testing with our cohort partnering physicians, and now here we are today. We're preparing to partner with some of the largest private practices in the United States for our beta test, preparing us for market launch in September to help doctors help patients across the nation. Being selected as a winner of the KGC 2023 Startup Pitch will give us exposure and the connections to be able to grow our network and our startup to become a leader in the industry. We are Codified Health, and we want to put the focus of medicine back on patients, not paperwork. Thank you. We are now open for any questions.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. If any three judges would like to present a question, feel free to do so at this time.
This is Jeremy. I have a question. Can you explain your revenue model and who's actually paying for this?
Right, so essentially our business model focuses on helping doctors who are already struggling with the billing process, largely because one, it's too convoluted, and two, because they don't have enough manpower. So that means that we're usually focusing on private practices because of these two issues. And that's also bolstered by the fact that no one in this industry is currently targeting them. So essentially what we're doing is we're offering a business model that offers predictable, transparent flat fee pricing, which means that we're offering a $2,000 one-time installation fee, followed by a monthly recurring fee of about $400 per user.
And is there anything similar that they've shown a willingness to pay like that around?
Yes. I can go kind of into the competition, and Haley can talk more on that. They paid for a lot of things like that. So they already pay about $60,000 a year just for one singular bill alone. That makes about only is accurate about 60% of the time. They also pay like that kind of model for things like claim scrubbing, as well as their own EHRs, electronic medical record systems, and other software products like pharmacy prescribing and things like that. So software subscriptions are not a new model. They're just a new model in this space for doctors to use.
Okay, thank you.
Hi,
guys.
thank you for the presentation. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead, Chris. You first.
Thank you. So I just had two questions. One was a follow-up from Jeremy's question. Just to clarify the business model use case and who would be paying, would it be the individual doctors or would it be the practices, the hospitals, or other organizations that they work for? In other words, who exactly would be paying?
I can go a little bit more clarification. So basically, doctors own these practices. So it'd be the doctors who are paying because they own the practices and they own these kind of private practice physicians. And so they would be the one paying. And if it's a a lot of different doctors, it would be the doctors, right, in kind of the head in charge of the practice. So they are called the partners, and they would be the ones kind of making the decision and paying for this.
Okay, and then second question. So what plan in place do you have, if any, for being able to scale out the number of users that you would eventually have? In other words, how would you eventually reach the doctors that you would want to have as part of your user and customer base?
I think Haley can go into our marketing plan about that.
Sure. So it's actually really interesting because this is such a massive problem, especially in private practices, that over the hundreds of interviews we've conducted with doctors, there's actually such a massive need that a lot of them are asking to beta test as soon as possible. So really, like, we're going to try to market on a few things. One is like time save, one is revenue, and one is just increased quality of care for patients because your doctors are no longer such massively burdened by like administrative work. But in terms of scaling, what's amazing about our software is that it actually has a relatively low cost of goods sold, which means that we have the capacity to scale massively with increasing costs at the same I'm sorry, there's a lot of feedback.
And also adding to that, from a more technical standpoint, in terms of the product design itself, after beta testing, we plan on moving on essentially to kind of like an engine that can take in as input the doctor's, say, patient data and analyze that. Do the analytics on that with our different libraries and the program and algorithms we develop, and then have outputs ready to be called at this click of that button that we showed in the prototype. So that's something we're actually working towards, which will help the scaling potential to massively increase after further testing. Yeah.
Thank you. And last question, if we have any time.
I'm sorry, Chris. We'll have to switch to the next just so everyone gets the right time.
Of course.
So, but we encourage you to communicate after in the chat. So Martin, you're up now. Thank you very much.
Everyone.
So Martin from Puppy Graph, no, Graph Build. Yeah.
Hello.
No, it's there.
Share my screen now. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see my screen okay. I just need to...
Yes, we can. Just put in a present mode.
Great, thank you. And I just need to load the correct one.
Richard, if you could raise your hand, we can bring you on stage.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So my name's Martin Dew. I'm one of the directors of Graph Build. We're a team of 5, our founding team. We have over a decade of experience within the knowledge graph sector through consulting and other activities that have led us to try to create a solution that's going to open up knowledge graph technology to a broader audience, because we love the technology and we don't think it's used enough. We want to help to fuel the inevitable growth that's coming as people find more and more use cases, and graph databases become the de facto database. The problem that we're trying to address specifically for our clients is that when you create a graph database, you need to go through this graph development lifecycle, as we call it. So you develop a model, you then source, transform and load the data into that model, and then you test it. You need to work out whether the graph is the model answers the questions that it should. And then in a real world environment, does it answer those questions in the time that the application requires? So each time you go through an iteration of this, because it needs continual improvement, you're talking about development, it's a resource, DevOps, custom software work. I'm sure we're all aware of the downfalls of that, but we are looking at 6-figure sums typically to create a kind of enterprise level solution. But it's not only the cost, it's the time. And so this is one of the key barriers that we've seen through doing consulting ourselves. During our market research, we did some user personas, spoke to end users, consultants, etc., in a range of different industries, and they were saying the same thing. So loading data is difficult, slow, and expensive for a few different reasons. Data comes from lots of different sources. It's often not clean. There's a large amount of it. It's complex, and it changes through time. This means for the users or the consultants that they can't show working examples to stakeholders. So it's difficult for projects to get off the ground, because if you imagine a proof of concept in most other markets is supposed to be a quick way of showing that something could potentially work, and they don't currently have the tools to do that. So in addition to proof of concepts not getting off the ground, there's then reduced return on investment through knowledge graph implementations, because it takes a very long time and a lot of money to actually get these into production. Finally, they're not optimized very well through time because they are based on custom built code that was built for one particular application. So it doesn't have the flexibility. We're the only company, we believe, focusing exclusively on this sector of ETL and data integration within graphs. There's a lot of tooling being developed for visualization and, of course, databases. We think that the market size will be a multi-billion-dollar industry very soon. This is simply because of the growth of graph databases within the database market more widely. But globally, ETL data integration is $11 billion currently. In terms of what options do people have now, what's the competition? Self-build, we've gone through that. Some database vendors do provide almost turnkey solutions, so tooling to load data into their databases, but it's not what we would call a true ETL. It's limited in terms of types of data sources like CSV, etc., TXT files. So that doesn't recognize the reality of ETL, of enterprise level graphs, which is coming from lots of different places. Could be APIs, any kind of source, but also in using that kind of tooling, you're potentially opening yourself up to vendor lock. And as we know, certain databases work better with some models than others. So to truly optimize with our solution, we think people should ideally use it to test out different databases as well. You can see here in the short video there that what graph.build is. It's a no-code, a very powerful, should I say, a very powerful graph creation platform, but it has a no-code user interface, so we don't need technical people to do this. It's not a tool just for developers. This is a tool for anybody who uses graphs. It combines enterprise scale functionality within the ETL, which is a well-established market. So you can perform custom functions on data. You can get it from virtually any data source. The way that we've built it means we can add to that. And you can publish to any graph that's compatible with Gremlin, Sparkle, or OpenCipher. So with this, we're reducing the cost of creating knowledge graph from 6 figures to certainly 5. We are reducing the time taken from months or even years to weeks or even days. This just isn't available on the market at the moment, and it's stifling the growth of the sector. So in terms of how we're going to make money, our acquisition target is a mixture of end users, consultants, and database vendor partners. We work on a monthly recurring revenue model, and we do offer sort of one-off fees for consulting if we need to. We are on track with this. Aggressive targets, it looks like getting to 500 clients by the end of year 10. But this will be in through the use of partnerships and helping others to make money as well. This brings us to just over 900,000. Sorry.
Hi, Martin. If we can open the floor for questions, maybe we can explore some of those talking points.
Great.
Feel free to open up any questions. The panel of judges, please. Will, Chris, John, Wooter, feel free to ask any questions you may have.
I think we have some of the same questions we had that Jeremy had last time from a go-to-market strategy, where they're in the maturity their state right now.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah, so our go-to-market strategy, as I mentioned, is split across 3. We have the MVP. We currently have 8 users in proof of concept. Those are a mixture of partners, consultants, and end users. And that's going well. Some of the initial feedback is on the screen now.
Anyone? Any other questions? We still have a few minutes left if you want to.
No. Okay. Well, yes, I guess from our side, we're just finishing off by explaining we currently have a lot of users 8 users in testing at the moment. The POC is going really well. And with the consulting partners, we are not viewing that as a source of revenue, but as a type of partnership to help them to win business. But they would then utilize the technology within their projects, which we know is a source of frustration. End of year 10, we have an annual recurring revenue of $29 million, which is, I think you'll agree, a very achievable based on the current market size, which we think currently today is $349 million per year, but that's clearly growing. And as I say, initial validation is really good. People love the capabilities that it has. There is nothing in the market like it. And we are also considering investments to accelerate that growth. If that's of interest to anyone, then you can get in touch with us here.
One last question. What's a niche or what target opportunity are you looking to focus on as you develop this solution?
So we are focused on the part of graph creation, which is bringing in data and modeling the graph. So it's the tooling that you have graph database vendors. They provide the databases, and they are probably the most well-known in the sector. Then you have people providing visualization tools. Nobody's really focusing on the tools that people need to actually build knowledge graphs. That's what we do. And so at the moment, this is an all-in-one enterprise-level platform to do that. And going forwards, we can develop that tooling out into other aspects as technology develops.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, George. If anybody has any subsequent questions, please feel free to ask it in the Q&A section. At this time, we will have representatives from PuppyGraph come up on stage.
Thank you.
Waymo, if you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you on.
Hello. I
Hi.
would be happy to share my screen.
That sorry. Well, we're gonna present PuppyGraph. If Waymo is available, Danila will message you on privately.
I'm from company Centum.
No, we're waiting for the PuppyGraph representative,
Okay.
Waymo Liu. So we'll call upon you later. Okay, she's here. Thank you very much. Can we invite her on stage? Okay, great.
Hi, Era. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Hi, Era. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you well.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Era. Hello. Can anyone hear me?
We can all hear you.
Okay.
And we can see your presence.
Yeah, and we call it as a PuppyGraph. We are a graph analytic engine for all your data. but not another graph database. And I just hear Martin's presentation, and I think maybe they can leverage our technique, and we can connect with each other later. Yeah, and here is our team. I was worked at Google F1 team, who is unified SQL query engine inside Google, and everyone write SQL to do data analysis can use our tools, and is support all the data format and the data source inside Google. So it's widely used, and almost every Googler use it. And before that, I was a research scientist at Telegraph, responsible for the query language and query engine. And we also have some of my friends work together with me. They are super talented engineer. For example, Lei Huang, he ranked 6th in the Google Jam World Finals, and also ranked 16th in the ACM ICPC World Finals. And we proceed by Lu Qi, who was an executive senior vice president of Microsoft in charge of Office, Bing, and Skype. And we also have a personal investor of the co-founder of first the CTO of Telegraph. And our mission is that we think data lake will be the center of the data analysis in the next couple of years. And there are already some other tools work together smoothly on top of that. And we want to be the graph query engine that integrates seamlessly with the existing data lake like Iceberg, Hoodie, and Delta Lake. And we can allow anyone directly query the data in table format in the data lake as a graph without do any data rewrite and data loading. And the user no longer need a ETL from the traditional database. For example, maybe some tables like Hive or Parquet file format to the graph product. And so one single copy of data will be good enough for the user to query SQL, to run SQL query and the graph query at the same time. And the problem we address is that since in the SQL world, actually obviously different products for different purpose. For example, if you want to insert and update data, you use a database like MySQL. But when you try to do some data analysis, you use the warehouse of Snowflake. But the interesting part is that it doesn't happen in graph world, and we think that we will be the first one focusing on the graph analysis instead of OLTP job. And why graph? I think all you guys are super expert in this area, so I can go this very fast. Like different use case require different models. Graph is definitely a very valuable model in the following area, like fraud detection, cybersecurity, and blockchain. And for today's topic is about knowledge graph. Knowledge graph usually is super big, and I think Info.js and kind of other graph product is very hard to handle that. And by leveraging the data lake technology, we can easily handle that since the data lake itself don't have a limitation on data size. And our query engine is also distributed and leverage some advanced technology like vectorization evaluation, multi-thread processing, so we can answer complex queries such as 10 hop neighbors easily and with low latency. And we also support different data source like Iceberg, different data lakes and Hive, and also Parquet file and different other format and data source. We support Gremlin and Cypher already, and we will also support some other kind of language like Spark. And we are open lakehouse architecture, can work smoothly integrate with other tools. Like you can run your first SQL statement and get some result, write back to data lake and run a Cypher query. And then after that, the Cypher result can be another write back to data lake again. And next statement will be SQL, maybe SQL Cypher, SQL Gremlin, and then you can have whatever combination of it. And data lake is already promoting by and endorsed by a lot of big players like Snowflake, Databricks, and Google BigQuery, Dremel, and servers. And this is our architecture. We support different query language and generate a logic plan. For different storage, we generate a different physical plan, and when let users easily run on top of their existing data. And the user no longer need to have another copy of data, especially for graph. I think it's a weight of cost. And we also have some this is how we have a logical mapping from the schema, graph schema to the tables in data lake. And you only need 1 minute to run your first graph query. And we already published our product on AWS. And this is our customer. Coinbase already deployed our product in their product environment yesterday. And we also have some other customer like Mishi, and also Clarity have a super big knowledge graph which have 150 million vertices and 4 billion edges, and we can handle them and let them query multi hops of traverse easily, and we can find out the hops between like A and B, multi hops, less than 5 hops in 3 to 5 seconds.
Wemo, I'm sorry, we have exhausted the 5 minutes of presentation. We will have to switch to the judges' question.
Yeah,
Thank
cool.
you. Any judges have questions?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I had a question about the technology behind puppy graphs. So my understanding is that it's focused more on property style graphs using languages like Gremlin and potentially Cypher in the future. Is that correct?
Gremlin and Cypher are already supported, and we currently are implementing the Sparkle now and GraphQL.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. If there potentially be any other generalization towards other graph-based languages, or other formats such as RDF or hypergraphs.
Yeah, sure, and definitely we will support that kind of data. But if you already have tables and you do some job to rewrite it to RDF, then we can remove that steps, and you can directly query your tables as a RDF.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Wemil. Small question. Who is the actual buyer of your software? Is it CDOs or is it CTOs, or how should I see that?
We have different strategies. Some of them are director of data science, and some of them are director of data infra. And since this current company are all super big, and we haven't talked with CTO or CIO yet, but most of them are director of department.
Okay, great, thanks.
Following up on that, do you offer what type of tiers services do you offer? Do you offer, say, an open source version and a paid version? How would that end up working?
We have a free Docker version and also AWS. Currently, AWS version is also free, and of course our price won't be more expensive than Neo4j and Amazon Neptune.
And what type of pricing strategy do you have in mind? In other words, how would you what would the cost end up being, and how would that cost be based on?
It will be twice or third times of the hardware cost.
Thank you very much. We'll switch to the next startup, so Kipu AI. And Narem, if you could raise your hand, we'll bring you on stage.
Hi, it's John. While we're waiting for the next for the next company, I'd just quickly interject. I think a pattern that's showing up in the questions that maybe all the presenters could think about is what is the revenue model? Who is the person that's actually making the purchase decision? What are the sort of unit economics look like? These are all really critical business questions, that an investor is going to want to understand in order to see sort of where the revenue is coming from and what it's going to take to get there. So as you think about your presentation, please try to make sure you address that, head on. Who's the buyer? How much are they going to pay? How many units do you need to sell to get to, a really high scale of revenue? Thanks so much.
Thank you, John. Nareem, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Naren. I'm founder CEO of Pipu. We are based out of Hyderabad, India. Right. So let's address the problem at hand: the data immobility. Right. So how costly is answering a business question in your enterprise? And a lot of factors affects this. Right. The initial one is knowledge gaps. That could be between business units or multiple domains, or formation of data silos. Then gathering this data and ensuring that it's interoperability. Finally, the amount of automation that requires to process this gathered data for the question that you have in mind. Then a low data mobility will definitely result in higher data integration costs, poor data discoverability, and slower time to insights. Then what are the ways to address this problem? So here we have to improve the understandability and interoperability with a common representation, and then a data fabric to connect these data silos. Then building domain-driven data products, right, to provide a fine-grained control and improved governance by the domain experts. Finally, building a semantic layer where you improve the data contextualization to the domain of interest, and then provision for the smarter information retrieval problems like semantic search or entity extraction or natural language question answer for rapid data discovery. And finally, ending up automating all of this part so that you could augment the intelligence. Is it possible to combine all of these together? Yes. So welcome to Knowledge Mobility Framework, where there are multiple different business users inside the enterprise, where analysts or a data scientist or engineer will have his own different problems where he has to come up and then get a solution to. Here in this knowledge mobility framework, where we provide for a particular business user to come in and then build his own perspective on top of the existing data model that is present, where and then he'll be interacting through what we call as a knowledge pod that has this built-in features where it will give you the semantic search or the entity 360 and the linked data visualization, so that answering a business question will be less expensive. So here, let's quickly jump into the demo so that you'll be able to understand the product in a deeper way. So first, for example, the problem is set up where we have multiple different sets of data, where we have a CRM data, and then where we have customer data, and then the stocks. So these guys will be purchasing the stocks. So that's the example that we have taken. So here, easily, if you see, we can go here and then build a particular perspective or the use case that we are addressing, and then we ask the system to contextualize it. So once it happens, right, so we'll be able to see here, okay, so this is where the customers are buying and selling the shares. But then we have a CRM domain where we show that the personal data of the user is present. Here we access this using a knowledge pod, where we just start with the example of semantic search. Here we have given a question like this: what stocks Liam from Bangladesh is holding? Here, what we need to tell is we are able to bring a consolidated information as answer, and then extract the entities and link them based on the context. And then this context is also dependent on the perspective that we have selected. Not only that, where we have actually given the entity 360 here. Here you see we are able to give multiple formats, and also we could easily select what perspective that we want to see that particular entity is present. Right here, if you see, initial was a CRM database where we got personal information. However, this is a a different perspective where we are just seeing buying and selling of the stocks of a particular entity. Right? And then you can easily integrate the visualization and analytics to this, and then take it further, right? So in the interest of time, I'll move on. So next, where does this actually impact, right? Uh, so the impact comes with like reduced data integration costs, and also we will be able to tangibly we'll be able to get to the knowledge faster. Then the non-tangible benefits would be increasing the domain agility, and then this will let you have deeper conversations with data. Going further, what market segment do we target? We target the mid-cap organizations where it will be expensive for them to hire individual teams to get build a customer 360 or entity 360 or searches and also some type of deeper analytics, right? So that's where we provide all of these automation pipelines for the mid-cap. You can place directly under data mesh segment, okay, where we are an intersection of data mesh, semantic AI, and deeper analytics. Going further, like the landscape looks bright. I think everyone is aware of this in this particular segment. And also, as we see, there is a lot of investments pouring into this segment, into the database infrastructure space, database infrastructure space, and also the knowledge graph and the semantic space. Right, till date, we have bootstrapped the company, and then this is the current funding cycle that we are in. So we are an enterprise B2B platform. So usually we take a contract and then we solve for the customers. Currently, we are implementing for one customer in 6 months' time. We want to complete implementing in 2 beta customers, and then in 12 months' time, we want to be enterprise ready. And we feel between 18 months to 36 months is where actual liftoff happens, where we see a pull from the market, where the graph database adoption will be much more. Okay. So just to introduce my team, so we have been recently joined by Mr. Mukesh. So he's the former managing director of Actifio India, where the company has actually raised $300 million and acquired by Google. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you. We'll have to switch to the judges' question.
Oh.
Just so everyone gets the right time. Okay.
Sure. Done.
Do you have any questions?
I guess my question would be this is Jeremy. If you would expand upon the types of questions that your product would be useful in answering, so I can understand more about who in the organization would be most interested.
Okay, definitely. So we have categorized as somebody analyzing the data, and then a data scientist and a data engineer, right? So all of them will have different perspective to come and address. So that's the type of business questions that we are looking for, where they could come set up their own perspective on what type of question they are solving, right? So these are the 3 categories that we found.
Well, could you give me a more specific example? I know it won't be the only one, but like, is it an e-commerce question? Is it like what kind of specific set of questions would they want to answer?
Correct. So for example, like we are currently implementing for a manufacturing facility and supply chain, all right, where there are multiple departments. These departments would be having different type of questions relating to how the product is moving from one step to the other. Second is like is my for producing this particular product, is everything ready, right? Means is the material ready, or this is where is the store currently working well, things like that, right? Where the product is built for a domain agnostic setup, but then if you move and look at it, a supply chain would be a simple low hanging fruit where you can directly see the use cases on top. And also to answer question in a different way, when we think about our data mesh architecture, right? So we understand everything should be domain driven. So we, as a platform, even we didn't plan to be like that, but we exactly fit in the architecture setup that is present. I hope this addressed your question.
So supply chain would be one area. What would be, are there other areas that you would call low hanging fruit? I mean, things that are too general are difficult.
No, so supply chain and manufacturing is something that is definitely a low hanging fruit. However, we would be going into the banking sector, so that also makes means I have a good finance background, so we started talking to a couple of banks, so where they're also pretty much interested, looking forward how everything works, how we'll be able to connect like different sets of the customer data that is present to how they are to analyze the purchase patterns and XYZ. So these two are the domains that we are thinking initially would be low hanging fruits for us.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up there
Okay.
for the startup.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Naren. Luca, I think you can raise your hand. Next startup is Vimy.
Hello.
Hi, Luca.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you well. Can you share your screen? We don't have your camera though. We can now see your screen.
Can you see me?
We can see you, we can see your screen, we can hear you.
Let me know if you see full screen.
We do see you full screen. You're ready to go.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Vimy is a University of Bologna spin-off I co-founded in 2020, whose mission is to build the Milky Data Way, a solution to enable the interoperability in the Internet of Things. The global challenges require new solutions able to cope with the complexity of today's ICT applications. Vimy wishes to contribute to these challenges by reducing time to market and maintenance costs of large-scale IoT applications, creating value from the integration of services and devices. There are hundreds of IoT solutions, and the number of IoT devices is increasing day by day. In this scenario, developers are struggling to integrate devices and services. Moreover, most IoT vendors use proprietary data format, which make the integration even harder. The IoT market is quite appealing. Even if we just refer to the industrial one, the annual growth rate is around 5%, and the estimated value by 2030 is about 100 billion US dollars. Thanks to standardized metadata and reusable building blocks, the Web of Things enable easy integration across IoT platforms and application domains. Milky Dataway exploits the Web of Things potential and offers IoT developers a set of services tailored to their needs. The Active Knowledge Graph service, for example, allows to consolidate and standardize data in a single place, enabling the development of data-driven IoT applications. The Active Knowledge Graph is built on top of SEPA, the SparkWell event processing architecture developed and maintained by Vimy. SEPA implements a publish-subscribe mechanism over the linked data. It facilitates the reuse of components and provides developers with a set of API and tools to implement linked data-driven composable applications. We know that Milky Dataway is an ambitious project that requires aggressive adoption to be successful, and we believe open source is the key for its diffusion. We are planning for a business-to-business subscription model, including customization for high-end customers. We are still in early stage, but we demonstrate the value of our innovation potential. We received funding by the European Union to improve our solution, and we acquire few but high valuable customers. And everything has been possible thanks to our team. Founders are the perfect mix of researchers and entrepreneurs. From project management to software development, ending with data science and AI, we have been able to attract very talented people, including PhD and PhD candidates. We also believe in young but high motivated students starting their career at Vime. Broadly speaking, we intend to push on the Web of Things community, develop the smart agriculture business by acquiring new customers and fundings, and starting a new service in the industrial IoT by the end of the year. We closed 2022 in negative, but we plan to close 2023 in positive. We are looking for Series A. This would allow Vime to scale and start to have its position in the IoT market. There are too many lions in the arena for us, but I still see an opportunity. I believe a partnership with AWS would contribute to its positioning as a leader also in the industrial IoT and allow Vime to scale up. It could be a win-win. In 2009, I have been involved in the European Sophia project coordinated by Nokia, where a semantic information broker have been developed, starting from the fundamental work made by Ora Lassila. It has been quite a long trip to get here today. Amazon Neptune was released the same year I get in touch with the first time with the Web of Things. What if the Milky Data Way would be integrated with Neptune? Anyone is interested? Maybe AWS itself? Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. You're perfectly on time. Any question from the judges?
Hello?
Hi,
Yeah, we can.
Wouter.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't
Thanks
know
for the
why,
presentation.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me, or you can hear me?
I think he's not hearing us. Can you hear us, Luca?
Yeah, sorry, because I don't know why the sound moved to not from the headphone. So sorry. Please go ahead.
No problem. I was wondering, you mentioned the W3C working group. Are there any other big corporations which are currently engaged with the standards you're using? Or are you one of the only commercial parties out there?
No, so within this Web of Things working group, there are let's say one of the best player in the market. So there is Intel, Siemens, Fujitsu, Philips, and our role is that we have an internal invited expert. So we are always updated about the work, and we can participate to the developing of the standard. And we have a very strong contact with Siemens, that is the chair of the working group. Yeah, I don't know if I give you the answer.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for the presentation. I had a few questions. So following up on the last point from your presentation, so how would the Milky data fit in with AWS Neptune? Is it meant to be more of a competitor or a collaborator or a partner, or a way to be able to integrate what they do to what you're doing? How do you envision that?
Yeah, for me, the win-win proposition will be to integrate our vision, our Milky Data vision, on top of Neptune. And so in this way, we can bring, let's say, our work we have done on the mostly on the publish subscribe mechanism. So instead of just using query and update, you can also subscribe using the standard SparkWell query. This could be, I think, an advantage for this system.
And is the Milky data meant to be specific to data collected from IoT sensors, or could it have other applications as well?
I mean, let's say the W3C Web of Things is now more focused on the low-level layer. So it deals with the different IoT protocols. So you can abstract from the low level and have a semantic description of the thing. But in this vision, there are also a digital thing. So you can extend the model not just to physical things like in IoT, but also, let's say, to services. So you can move to different domain.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question if there is. Otherwise, we'll switch to the next. And Luca, can you stop sharing your screen?
Okay, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, we'll switch to the next startup. Leon from Curiosity. Can you raise your hand? Okay.
Good.
We can hear you.
Everybody, and you can see me.
We can see you.
Fantastic. Let me share a thing. And I have too much open. That's bad. I'm hoping you can see a presentation.
Yep. Just have to switch in full screen mode if you want.
Right. Oh, is it not showing full screen mode? Oh dear.
No, we're still on the.
Well, no. Okay, it's not switching for some reason. You'll have to bear with me.
That's okay. Well, we're not seeing your screen anymore.
Oh.
Can you share it again?
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. Let me just share the whole cahoodle.
Yeah, that's
and do
perfect.
this.
If you switch to, oh yeah, perfect. Here you go.
Excellent. So, good day, everybody. My name is Leon. Very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. I am co-founder and CEO at Curiosity. We are a tiny startup based out of Munich, Germany, and we actually just turned 5. So we've been doing this for a while. We like it small. We're lean and mean. That's how we like to do things. And despite the fact that we're small, we're addressing a problem that I'm sure you all know and probably needs very little introduction at this kind of conference. Think back to the last time you were looking for a document or a presentation and you were pretty sure you had it somewhere or a colleague had put it on a SharePoint, and you had a look and you spent like half an hour digging around, and then it's something you just gave up and started again. Super frustrating, gigantic waste of time, big problem for everybody, and it'd be even better if I had the right presentation. Wow, this is going swimmingly. Sorry about that. Better. We all have too many files in too many places. All of us work with a bunch of apps and folders and documents and emails and messages, and it just makes it very hard to find what we need to get our jobs done. And the result of that is that people end up spending their days looking for things, recreating things that already exist, reinventing the wheel. And there's this constant knowledge drain as people leave teams or as new people come on board. And at Curiosity, we address that with one search for everything. And it's really almost as simple as that. So it's a search application that gives people one place to find all of their stuff, whether it's on their computers, on shared hard drives, on cloud apps like Google Drive or Notion. And that puts all their information at their fingertips so that they can save time, reuse the knowledge they or their team have already created, and gives them finally the opportunity to actually focus on the jobs they were hired to do, as opposed to scrolling through email attachments or clicking through folders trying to find stuff. And Curiosity comes in 2 incarnations. So first of all, we have a desktop application that you can install on your computer, and it gives you one search for everything on your computer, files and folders, zip files, email attachments, everything, even audio and video. And also all of your cloud stuff. So everything that's in your Gmail and everything that's on your Notion and GitHub and so on and so on. What's special about this is it runs on your laptop. So everything stays local, and we don't index your data in the cloud. So it stays safe on your computer, with one exception. When you're chatting with our new ChatGPT integration, then your chats obviously get sent to the cloud. But all of your data, all of your email stays on your laptop That's how we keep it safe. We're German. We take data privacy very seriously. If you want to give it a try, please do. You can go to Curiosity AI, download it off our website, and if you use the code KGC 2023, you can get 3 months free of our Pro version. The other incarnation of Curiosity, and I'm getting to the part about where we do knowledge graphs, is enterprise search. And an example for that is one of the customers we've worked for a long time is Airbus, the aircraft manufacturer. There we built a system called Flight Ops Intelligent Search. So it's used by about, give or take, 1,000 engineers. And their job is to answer questions from airlines. I don't know, I see a crack. What do I do? And these people were struggling because they had 40 years of data. It's over 20 million files. It was spread across 60 different databases. It was a huge mess. And they were really struggling to keep up with the fleet growth because there are more and more aircraft. So what we built there, based on the same stack that we also deploy on laptops, is a integrated search that gives them one place to search everything. And we also use knowledge graphs. Every single one of our systems actually has a knowledge graph in the background. And we use the knowledge graph for a couple of different things. In addition to search, we link objects across the different data sources. So it's like a retroactive hyperlinking using natural language processing. So for example, we can see a process number. If we can see that in a document, you can click on it and see all the other documents that reference that process. So it's linking together of different types of data across different sources. And we also use it for similarity. So up here in the top right, you can see when a user clicks on a document or an exchange, we can show them similar stuff that's happened in the past so that they can see if they already have something. For example, if they've already seen this question before, they don't need to answer it again. And the best way to do that, it turns out, in a very highly technical environment is actually using a graph embedding model. So how does it work? You're a slightly technical audience. I'll keep it short, I promise. We have integrations for a bunch of data and also custom integrations for custom data. And Curiosity is a single tightly integrated stack comprising natural language processing, graph database of our own making. It's a labeled property graph based on that uses RocksDB as a key value store in the background. We have a search engine based on Lucene. Permissions management, obviously very important for large organizations, and it's completely customizable, front-end, business logic, all that kind of thing, and people use it via the desktop app or enterprise search. So yes, coming
I'm
up.
very sorry. Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm done. And thank you. Don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. Here's the code again, and thank you for bearing with me through presentation difficulties.
Thank you. Any question from the judges?
Jeremy Kagan, could you maybe outline the commercial relationship with Airbus and how that works?
Sure. So we have it basically breaks down into two parts. We have a custom build part because they want a lot of custom stuff. So that turns into project work. That's a services model. And then we have a licensing model based on data volume and usage. And that includes support. So those are the two parts of that commercial relationship.
Leon, could you talk a little bit about some of the consumers that have already started using the product, what kind of adoption and stickiness you're seeing there?
Sure. So where we see a lot of adoption and stickiness is in prosumers, not consumers per se. So we get a lot of freelancers, we get a lot of web agencies, we get a lot of people who are handling multiple accounts. One of the use cases, for example, that we see fairly frequently is people who say, I work with different clients, I have 3 different Google accounts just because they have client accounts, and I need just some way to handle this stuff and find the stuff I need because I can't remember what account it's in, and Google only searches one account at a time. That's the kind of application we get. So it's professionals trying to be more productive. Does that? I'm assuming if you don't carry on answering questions that that you're happy and I answered the question. I apologize if not.
No, that definitely answers the question. Yeah, I think the only follow-up I might ask is, do you see them converting from like a free to a paid product? Do you see real traction among that prosumer base, and what kind of numbers could you share about it?
So we see some traction there. We have about 5% of switching from free to paid. The free version is moderately generous in what we give out there. To be honest, the desktop product is more of a marketing tool for us. We're basically using it for a product-led approach because it's one of the ways to fill the top of the enterprise funnel. We can monitor the people. I see the email addresses coming in, and if I see people signing up from DuckDuckGo, for example, I can then reach out to that organization and say, hey, by the way, your guys are using our stuff. Are you interested in making this more formal, going through all the IT stuff, and then also getting custom systems for your organization? So basically, we're trying to do PLG with search.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Leon. I had a question. So search in general is a fairly crowded space. So the Googles and DuckDuckGos of the world, to the Elasticsearches of the world, or even on desktop, you have the search bar in Microsoft Windows Explorer. So what would you say your biggest key differentiators between others in that space?
That is a very big question for a couple of minutes, but very briefly, web search is a very different kind of problem. And you may know that Google actually had a desktop search product that they killed, the desktop search. So that I'm just going to put all of them out. And then our competition breaks down into two types. There's the desktop search and launchers, where we're the only application that we know of at the moment that does both search locally on the device and cloud accounts and keeps all your data locally. So either you'll only get search locally, that's what the Microsoft search bar does that you just mentioned, or you get a lot of our competition in the startup space will just upload all of your data, including all of your emails and everything, to their servers, and then they promise to keep it safe. We don't do that. So that's on the desktop side. And on the enterprise side, we're just massively more flexible and faster to set up and easier to maintain than our older competitors, simply because the stack is a lot younger. And we have this one tightly integrated system that gives us a lot of flexibility. So basically, we have a cost advantage and a speed advantage in the enterprise space. Oh, and we have all the new models too. But it's a model.
Thank you very much. We'll have to switch to the next startup.
Thank you for your
very
question.
much, Leon.
Thank you.
Lead Semantics is the next startup. So Prasad, if you could raise your hand. Okay. So Prasad, can you speak?
Hi, this is Prasad.
So we can hear you. Can you share your screen? And switch on your camera.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the screen.
We can see you.
Yeah. And studio mode, would that be the one? How do I share my screen here?
On the bottom left.
Studio mode.
You have a button.
You have a button at the bottom of the screen.
You can stop sharing your camera, and I'll help you in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Right here. Your screen. And then entire screen.
Yeah.
And then you can click here.
Yeah.
Share.
Great.
Now you can share your camera.
Hello. Am I visible? And am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Everything is visible. You can go.
Okay, great. Hi, I am Prasad from Lead Semantics. I'm the founder CEO. So Lead Semantics is addressing two major gaps, as we see, related to unstructured data in the enterprise. So the two gaps that we see are that so if you do not solve these two gaps or fix these two gaps, what it does is it kind of removes unstructured data in the enterprise from properly and systematically participate in the decision making workflows of the organization compared to that of the structured data. And the two major problems that we see is that text or unstructured data has all this knowledge, but piping all of that into the enterprise knowledge graph does not have a tried and tested and best practice methods in place. So that's one. The other one is the question and answering and or the QA, where you are able to ask pure natural language questions of the unstructured data and expect to get a full answer that is explainable, in an accurate and performative way. Again, compared to that of the structured data. So we think these two problems kind of put the unstructured data at a serious disadvantage in participating in the organizational decision making. And we have developed a tool called Text Distill. And Text Distill is a single pipeline software that takes in text on one side, unstructured data, and produces an ontology conformant knowledge triples output that can be directly ingested into any W3C standard triple store, or it could be loaded into a property graph as well. So this single tool addresses these two questions of funneling all the knowledge in the unstructured data, volumes, however large they may be, into the enterprise knowledge graph. That's one. The second one is it allows for a very competent search that is supported by an intermediate fact graph that is extracted from the unstructured text. And so this fact graph supporting the text search allows for pure complex natural language questions that might have complex multi-hop questions. And the answers themselves are put together from snippets of text that may be coming from multiple documents within the corpus. And then further, it allows for visually inspectable relation graph that holds the edges and nodes that directly links back to the phrases and clauses that actually support the facts of the summary that is produced as the answer to the question. This is something that we are talking about in a talk tomorrow related to knowledge extraction related to ESG from global news. You're all welcome to join in and see the text is still in action, actually. The differentiation we think and the head start we think we have is due to novel application of tried and tested technologies that are available to everybody, but in the way that we use and apply them. And the other thing that I must stress, and I'm open about this, is that we are applying semantics on the representation models that we use in terms of extracting that the knowledge that conforms to the final ontology. So that we think is gives us the head start in terms of our differentiation. We are also finding good market traction. The use cases we see, we are focused on few use cases, but we see new use cases spring up all the time. Most of them are from the groups within enterprises where there is a need for digging up facts from that are buried in large volumes of unstructured data. And so so that is forming a kind of an ideal customer profile for us, which is kind of slowly fructifying. But already we are seeing good feedback from the financial industry. One of the traction that we have is with Dow Jones Factiva News. We completed a POC, and we are now offering a subscription service, producing knowledge graphs off of their news service. The knowledge graphs that we produce are like climate events related graphs, or corporate events and so on. These are meant to support private equity and portfolio managers and such. The other is that we are in evaluation talks with a large bank that is interested in doing investment compliance, and they have other use cases as well in the equity research and debt research workflows. So there is something going on there. And we have an epidemiology incidence tracking, by a group that is interested in tracking public news to track these things. They are in global health. So in general, we are finding that there is a lot of traction for as long as we are able to get the accurate, tractable, verifiable answers for the question that you ask of these unstructured data. And that's what we are able to provide through Text Distill. We are offering two types of services now. One is a subscription-based SaaS model, knowledge graph powered domain search on the corpuses that enterprises have. Part of that is Dow Jones News as well. And the other one is on a consulting project based where we build knowledge graphs for them for specific domains.
Thanks, Prasan. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to switch to the judge's question. Any question?
Hi, Prasad. Thank you for this presentation. So, extracting. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, extracting knowledge, extracting information from free text is notoriously challenging. So,
yes.
How have you been measuring the accuracy of your service?
Yeah. So that's where the semantics comes in. It uniquely fills in that role of being able to judge the extractions whether they are right or wrong, because clearly there is whole layers of statistical extraction processes and things like that. A lot of thresholding is happening in terms of the classifications that we assign to the extractions. But then the final filter is is it getting picked up by the ontology that is specified.
I see. So you're extracting information to fit a particular ontology.
Yes, ontology is it kind of projects onto what how we beam out in our statistical models.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
John, Jeremy?
Yes, I'd love to know your thoughts on how this is differentiated when extraction might be a feature offered by others who want to service their customers either upstream or downstream. I'm just concerned that this might not be standalone enough. And can you explain a little bit more about your defensible competitive advantage?
Right. That's a great question. That is the question that we kind of discussed a lot in our engineering and things like that way ahead, probably about a year ago. One of the things that we notice is that with the vector searches and all the leading searches using embeddings and so on, the verifiability is still lacking. And that is where we excel, because we use the fact graph from the underlying text. You can visually see if the extracted facts actually are what you would as a human when you look at the underlying snippets, because we are actually highlighting the snippets, the clauses and phrases that are feeding into the nodes and edges of the knowledge graph that we are we have extracted. So there is 100% verifiability. And the mistakes that you find are due to the statistical models, which can always be improved based on how you train.
Okay, thank you very much, Prasid. I think we'll switch to the last startups, which is Cookie Lang. Thank you, Prasid. Sang Choi, can you raise your hand?
Hi.
Yes, we can see you.
Great.
Okay. Okay, Sang, we can see you. We can hear you. Can you share your screen?
Okay. Can you see my screen?
We cannot yet. Did you press the button at the bottom?
Hello?
Can you hear us, Sang? We can hear you. Can you hear us, Sang?
Hello?
Hi, Sang. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you see my screen?
We can, yes.
Oh, great. Right.
You're ready to go. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Sang from CookieRanks. We started as a language e-learning startup from South Korea. After a little success, we moved to New York last year. And we have been focusing on NLP and generative AI for about a year now and invented a revolutionizing marketing service. We recently acquired some clients and expect big revenue growth in the coming years. This pitch is to tell you our plan for it. Let me show you the demo video first.
Sang? We cannot hear you anymore.
The sound is, you cannot hear the voice?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we cannot hear the video, Sang.
Maybe the video cannot share the sound.
Can you just pick up on top of it, describing what's happening?
Okay. It's so people can actually interact with these animated characters. And the video is over, but I hope you could read the subtitle for the conversation. Yeah. So the service suggests you an ad with an AI character that you like to talk with. It can be a girl or a guy, even an animated character. And the conversations are different for each user based on their preference. There's no doubt it will be the most powerful marketing method in a few years. It's quite efficient as well. Our survey shows it's more than 20 times effective than YouTube ads, and it will cost about the same. Before the end of this year, we expect more than 1 million active users from China alone. And you know, there are more than 30 million people in the US who need to learn English. But let's say we only have 1 million active users worldwide this year. When a user tries one ad, they like to talk around 10 times because it's so entertaining. And the next year, we will be able to work with hundreds of clients or more. Now you might be wondering how we can attract millions of users. This is it. We are building the next YouTube. It's like where people can have virtual conversations with their favorite video creators from YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We are already partnering with the popular influencers and celebrities, and their presence will help us boost the user numbers. Well, don't forget the basic features are for language learning, and people don't mind paying for English learnings in Asia. And we share the revenue with the influencers. Adair, one of our core members, is an acclaimed researcher in NLP. And for myself, I have over a decade of experience in IT and also worked as a movie director in Hollywood. We are fortunate to have several top-notch advisors who are experts in NLP and AI. Their immeasurable contributions have helped us make our platform the best in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sang. Do you have any questions from the judges?
from the judges?
Sung, I believe you said that you're targeting $30 million of revenue this year. How much of that revenue has been earned so far, and what kind of contracts are in place that indicate that you're going to get to that target?
Okay. The revenue will be mostly from this new advertising service, but the service is not yet launched. But we have a B2B customer for English learning from South Korea, and the revenue for this from that revenue up until now it's around 1 million US dollars.
So the English language customer has paid you 1 million in revenue so far this year?
Right.
And how much more revenue do you expect from that customer this year?
We expect it could be around 5 million USD.
Okay, so that'll get you to 6 million for this year. And then what about, you said that the total expected for the year was 30. So where's the other 24 come from?
It's from this advertising model.
The interactive ads.
Right.
You think you're expecting $26 million of revenue between now and the end of the year for the interactive ad platform?
Right. This is the from the hold on. Yeah.
And you,
this is from the advertising.
Are any of those ads actually being served to any customers right now?
Well, we already got customers like Molson Coors, and we starting the platform that I talked about in 2 months. And from this revenue projections are from that platform with the advertising.
So 2 months from now is when we expect that the interactive ads will actually be served to customers?
Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying this is Jeremy. First of all, I noticed there was a lot of Columbia folks there, and as a Columbia professor, I'm glad to see that. But my question for you is, first of all, the 1 million in revenue is very impressive, and that's something that is, seems to be generating revenue right now in a very specific industry with demand. Why not lean into that and continue developing that industry? And then and I'm a digital marketing professor, so I'm very excited about the ad capabilities. But if you could explain any other industry verticals you think might be powerful as well.
Yeah, right. The reason why we want to make it bigger is because we found a bigger market. I mean, it's for we can make the platform the biggest language learning in a few years. I mean, but conventionally, we have to need a lot of thousands of workforces to make that kind of platform. But with the help of AI, we can make it happen with good ideas like this platform. I mean, this platform is, let me show you the, yes. Yeah, this platform is like open for everybody, like YouTube and TikTok. But the revenue sharing rate is a lot higher than YouTube or TikTok because we are making a language learning platform. So people don't mind spending much money, especially Asia or Latin America for English learning. So we want to make it bigger business than just serving some corporate customers for learning English.
Hi, Seng. I had a quick question. So, regarding the relationship between language learning and the personalized advertising, how, if at all, are you protecting the privacy of your users?
Well, the information we are collecting is a lot less than Google is doing. And we are not selling, not like Google, we are not selling our customers' information because we don't need to make money from selling information from our customer. And yeah, I think that's already better than other services for that aspect.
Well, where would the data be stored? Is it stored on their machines? Is it stored on your machine or machines? How would that aspect work?
The data will be stored on our server.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have to wrap up the session. Thank you all
Thank you.
startups, and thank you the judges for your support. We'll have so now we'll have a discussion with the judges. You should receive an email to join a Google Meet session with us so we can debate and decide who's going to be the winners. Just
Great job, startups. Very exciting stuff you're working on. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Just there is also a feedback survey that should appear in your chat. If you can take it, that would be awesome for the KGC team and for Hermeet. Thank you very much. Wish you a pleasant day or evening or morning, wherever you are on the planet. And yep, see you there. Bye.